It is time to go through all the books that I read the month of May. I had a little bit better of a reading month. I read a total of 5 books. One of them was an audiobook, 3 of them were on my Kindle, and then one was a physical book. So let's dive into it. The first book that I read was Pictures of You by Emma Gray, and I rated this 4 stars. I went into this pretty blind. I had no idea what this story was about, and I honestly loved it. In this story, we are following Evie, who ends up in a pretty bad car accident where she doesn't remember anything about her current life. Her most recent memory is when she was 16 years old. So at this point, she's in her, I think she's like late 20s, maybe early 30s, and she has no idea where her life is now. And all the people that she was in contact with back when she was 16, she's not in contact with. So she's trying to put the pieces together to understand what happened in her life. Why is she not talking to people that she used to talk to? Why does she talk to these other people? And she's just navigating that journey after this car accident. We also get the perspective of Drew, who is a photographer and knows Evie from her past and is kind of helping Evie piece together the past and where she is now. And it is such a beautiful story. I absolutely loved it. I could not stop reading it. It is a beautiful story just about second chances, honestly, and realizing that there can be a lot that happens in life that can change the trajectory of your life. There is a back and forth timeline, which you kind of get back when she was 16, and then you're also getting the present day, and you're just discovering the story with our main character, which I think made it really fun. So I absolutely loved it. Next up, I listened to a man called Uwe, I'm not sure how to say it because I've heard it said many different ways, but it is by Fredrik Backman, and I rated this 3 stars. In this story, we are following a very grumpy old man who lives in a very black and white world. He is kind of like the neighborhood watchman. He is keeping everybody in line, making sure everybody is following the rules. And his wife has passed away, so he's been really struggling with that. And ultimately, at this point in his life, he wants to join her. He's kind of in a dark headspace mentally, but a young new family moves in across the street from him that kind of helps pull him out of this darkness. He sort of has this plan to end his life. This family kind of pushes themselves into his world and gives him a little bit of a sense of purpose again, which is something that is very much needed for him. This story has a very heavy undertone to it, with our main character essentially wanting to just be done with life. While I think Fredrik Backman's writing is wonderful, I also am realizing that I don't know if I'm loving stories that so casually talk about what the overarching theme of this book touched on. The book in itself was good. Fredrik Backman's writing is always a delight to read. Yeah, it was all right. I enjoyed it. Next up, I read Habits of the Household by Justin Earley, and I rated this 5 stars. It was a nonfiction book that we actually read with our small group, and essentially this is centered around habits of the household for families. So if you have kids, it obviously applies more to that. But most of the couples in our group do have kids. We do not yet. So this was a good opportunity for us to learn from other parents, and it gives really great tips and tricks to build better habits in your household, even if you don't have kids. It has practical and realistic habits to implement into your life. So I thoroughly enjoyed this read. Next up, I read Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas, and I rated this 5 stars. I absolutely loved this book. It's the 3rd book in the Throne of Glass series, so I obviously don't want to give any spoilers, but I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I've heard a few people not necessarily loving it and feeling like this is a boring book. I don't know if we read the same book because I was thoroughly entertained the entire time. Again, we're still building off of the world and we're learning more. We are introduced to a lot of characters in this book, which I absolutely loved because I started to meet some of the characters that I've heard people talk about, but hadn't met yet up until this book. There's a lot of different storylines going on that you're sort of bouncing back and forth between, which was fun also to kind of see them slowly come together. The first half of the book is definitely where you're more learning about the world, learning about these other characters that you're meeting, and then the second half is action-packed. Of course, the last 100 pages are always a treat and you're on the edge of your seat. I absolutely loved it. I immediately have already jumped into the next book and I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. I loved this book. I think in this book, you just have to push through. It is so good. I absolutely loved it. And yeah, 5 out of 5 for me. Next up, I read Rewind It Back by Liz Tomford. I rated this 5 stars. This is a part of the interconnected standalone series called Windy Cities. It follows a group of friends and it's a sports romance, and I absolutely am obsessed with this series. It is so good. It is very spicy, so do with that what you will. In this story, we are following Rio, who is a professional hockey player, and Hallie, who is an interior designer. So you get dual point of view, which I always love, and it is a second chance romance, and nothing beats a second chance romance. They are childhood besties, sweethearts, whatever you want to call it. They reunite after having a bit of a falling out. They haven't seen each other in 6 years, and they end up reconnecting over a project together where Hallie is going to be helping Rio with his home. They ended on not the best terms, so this is the first time that they've seen each other or talked to each other in a really long time. I could not put this book down. I literally binged it in like probably 24 hours. I read it on my Kindle and I decided to splurge and buy the entire series, as you can maybe see on my shelf right there, because I love these covers. I think they're so fun, and it's based in Chicago. Primarily, they all play for Chicago teams, each of the characters that you follow throughout the series. But this book, I couldn't put it down. It was so good. The banter and the tension and everything is so good. And you get a little bit of past and present timeline, so you're also slowly figuring out like what happened in their relationship in the past, and then also obviously seeing them in the present day. So it is so good. I couldn't put it down. I absolutely loved it. The writing is good. The way that she writes the characters and everything, it is amazing. That is all the books that I read the month of May. I still have been very busy, so it's been hard to stay on top of reading, but I've been very much enjoying all of the books that I have been able to get through. Thank you so much for listening to me yap about books. I hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next time.